Hi, I'm Dr. Walter Matwaychuk, and in today's intermittent reinforcement email message, I reveal a new self-help form that I've created. I refer to it as the Easy ABCDEF self-help sheet. And the reason I have continued to try to make a good self-help sheet is that people just don't do these things, and they're very helpful for learning how to unupset yourself when you anger yourself or depress yourself or make yourself anxious. Albert Ellis was a big believer in self-help sheets. I know other leading practitioners are, like Wendy Dryden, myself as well. And the problem is that people just don't do them. For whatever reason, several different types of REBT self-help sheets have been created, and people stubbornly refuse to sit down either before they're upset or while they're upset or just after they're upset, and begin to unpackage and analyze the thinking that led to their emotional upset so that they can restore a sense of healthy functioning and better understand their vulnerability. So going forward, they can modify these self-defeating, rigid, and extreme attitudes that they hold. So I have created what I think is an easier one to do and a helpful one, and it relies on two questions. A question that aims to show you how your thinking is self-defeating, and a question that helps to show you how your thinking is invalid. I think people don't do these things because they have either low discomfort tolerance and say it's just too hard to do this type of thing, or they say something to themselves like, well, I have to do it perfectly well, or I'm not sure it's going to work. And so what I would say to you is that by taking a moment every now and then and doing one of these self-help sheets, you will become, first of all, better at thinking rationally and better at doing these things. And as you do them and begin to see yourself uncovering trends in your thinking, you'll probably be more inclined to use them and think differently in the future. So at the end of the self-help sheet, I have a question that says, effective new philosophy towards this adversity. And what you're going to do is create a new idea that's going to counter the rigid and extreme attitudes that you've identified earlier in the self-help sheet. And once you've created this new effective philosophy, you can then begin to try to act in accord with it, implement it. And when you act in accord with a rational attitude, you will soon see that you develop conviction in it because it works in the real world. So I strongly encourage you to look at the self-help sheet I've created and also look at the examples that I've put out there attached to this email, because I have, in fact, recently angered myself when my credit card was needed to be canceled and restored because of fraudulent use by another party. And in angering myself, I said, this is a great opportunity to test my easy worksheet and calm myself down, because I was needlessly angering myself about the time I was, quote unquote, wasting straightening out this mess. And I attacked the rigid attitudes and the low discomfort tolerance about my using time in an effective way. So I strongly encourage you to download from this email the self-help sheet that I created, and also download the examples that I've provided, and that way you can use them to help you learn to use this powerful tool. And the more you use it, then down the road, maybe you could do most of it in your head. But again, I really think that even when you've practiced REBT for years and years and years, it still pays when you're particularly upset to sit down and use paper and pencil to pulverize your irrational thinking, as Albert would say. So I hope that you can give this a try for your own well-being. And of course, let me remind you that every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, as well as at various other times across the European continent and Asia, I hold the weekly Rational Emotive Behavioral Conversation Hour, where I take a volunteer and show them how they're disturbing themselves and how they could use the philosophy of Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy to help themselves. So I encourage you to go to my website, rebtdoctor.com, and submit your email address to me, and I'll send you a Zoom invitation. We've had many great conversations, and I've been getting email from people saying that this is a great way to learn how I upset myself by watching other people upset themselves and you working with them. So I encourage you to join me at 9 a.m. Eastern on Saturday mornings, and you can easily find out from visiting my website what time that would be if you're in Europe somewhere or if you're in Asia. So thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that you continue to study and utilize this powerful self-liberating philosophy.